Hello Bishes, welcome back to my channel. So today's going to be a vloggy type of day because I do have quite a lot to do. The beginning of 2022 was kind of a shit show for me, and I have a lot of determination to turn this remaining quarter of this year around. And because I feel like a lot of people usually wait for January to set new goals for themselves, new resolutions for themselves, but I don't think it always has to be that way. I think you can set resolutions in January if you feel like you need to change and maneuver some things in the middle of the year. You can do that too, and you don't always have to just set goals for January only and just expect to follow through with it for the rest of the year. I think that, sometimes a quarterly system might work better for some people, especially for me. So for the remaining of this year, I do have a lot of plans and goals in mind, which I will share later on in this video. But first things first is I am going to film a video. As you can see, I have my setup already in the background. I'm going to be filming a video about how I make self-published books, which is something I will happily share in a moment because I want to just revamp my online shop and side business in general, just because honestly that was a fun thing to do and I just want to start picking that up again. But I am waiting for Lightbox Expo to happen first because that's where I will sell my first batch of merch again. But afterwards I will then bring things online to my online shops depending on what does well, so stay tuned for that. But anyway, I want to share some of the exciting stuff that I got. So these are the things that just came in the mail like yesterday, and I ran all the way to the UPS pickup location just to get them in time. So my first copy of Doodle Bishes came in the mail, and Doodle Bishes is basically a series of doodle-esque comics that I made on my Instagram for some time, and I finally made it into a book. I already proofread everything in this book, so this one is pretty much good to go for a bulk order. I also made volume 2 of Succubishes, which is a continuation of Succubishes, in which I already technically made a first self-published version, but I did it through Amazon Kindle Publishing, and honestly, I would say that was not the best way to go, but I also had no idea what I was doing the first time I self-published a book. And with volume 1, I'm probably going to have to eventually move that copy over to MEESH. And then lastly, I did Vera the Siren. So you might have noticed on my Instagram, I had a blue series of comics. And honestly, it was just kind of an experimental phase. I just wanted to work with like kind of more serious comics or a more traditional form of comics that was not just based around Instagram's methods of posting. So again, I'm going to be first selling these at Lightbox Expo, but eventually I will be selling them online, and if you do buy them from me, you can get a signed copy whenever that time comes. So for now, I'm just happy with these proofs. I still have to read through these to make sure that there are no typos or errors. So yeah, first I have to just film a video talking about how I made these books so that you can do it too yourself if you plan on eventually making physical copies of your books or just making a portfolio in a more professional way, I guess. But yeah, see you in a bit. So I just finished filming, and honestly I will say the most exhausting part about filming videos is not the recording or editing portion. It's always the setting up with the tripods and the lighting situation, because I don't know, I feel like just going through the process of assembling things tires me more than the creative process. So I just wished in a world we could just poof out a tripod to adjust to whatever size you want, poof out lighting to adjust to whatever lighting you want, and that would just be so much easier. But I understand that the world is not there yet, or maybe we are and I'm just totally unaware. But anyway, I'm done filming for now. I will then go edit the video, but I do have another few things to do for this whole MEESH collaboration. And that is, I also have to film a reel and plan out an Instagram post for it. But yeah, so first I have to go edit my MEESH YouTube video, and then afterwards I have to film the reel, which is like a condensed version of the video. Then afterwards, I have a whole Instagram comic that will kind of be like a tutorial and guide walking through the process. So yeah, I literally have like 3 iterations of one project and I keep it all in this notebook. But first I have to go edit the video. Hello, ma'ams. Every day is a battle, fighting over my chair with this douche. So I just finished doing a very rough cut of my self-publishing a book tutorial, and I leave these markers here basically whenever I watch my video and I know there's going to be like, you know, an overlay of text or a graphic I want to show. I mark it in those spots so that eventually I'll just know where it is without having to watch the video and just choose out the spot. And then here in my social media notebook, I just kind of keep a list of all the video assets I needed for the different sections of my videos so that, you know, I know that I will need different overlays, text, or graphics for these different things. So once I import them into those respective spots, I can then check it off. And this just helps me get videos done a lot faster. Again, I'm just looking forward to having a year of efficiency, and just sitting around and watching the video just wastes more time. So doing this is gonna take a few minutes, but it helps for the long run. Okay, so I'm now just taking a pause from working on editing my video because what I like to do is anything that requires my physical presence, like filming myself, I just like to take care of that in the beginning portions of the days, just because I feel like I have more energy, my makeup is a little bit more fresh. I like to save the more quiet work like editing or just drawing or doing stuff that mostly is on my computer. I like to save that for when the day is like coming to a close, because I don't know, when the light is out and everything, that's the better opportunity to film. So right after this, I'm probably gonna start filming my reel for the MEESH collaboration. But I also did want to mention and just talk about other plans I had for this year, because one of the things that again made me really anxious about this part of the year was Lightbox Expo. To be honest, I was stressing out over other things. But now that I'm starting to create these books that I just showed you that I'm doing, it really got me excited to, you know, go to the convention now. I feel like a lot of other artists are really great at making their own prints, their own merch, like, and plushies and stuff, but I don't feel like I ever had a specialty in the world of selling products as an artist until obviously my comics started accumulating, and I was like, wow, I really have like these different series of stories that I can just be printing and selling. So maybe that is my calling. And I think once I came up with the idea of primarily selling my comics in the form of printed books, that got me more excited, because I was like, oh, this really feels like me. This really feels like something that I was meant to sell, because I felt like for some reason, if I just went out of my way to develop a plushie or some sort of merch that really isn't fitting with what I do, it just felt very like, I don't know, irrelevant and random. I do plan to bring back Succubishes Volume 1, but it's just the size difference is gonna be really off, because this is what the original Succubishes size is. This is Volume 1 of Succubishes when I first used Amazon Kindle direct printing. And then this is now Succubishes Volume 2 that I used with MEESH. And even when I like read the inside of this at this size, everything is still perfectly legible. So I'm just like, there really is no need to make a book this big for fun-sized comics and stories. So eventually, my plan is to convert this book into this size, but again, I just have to focus on Lightbox Expo first and then reopening my shop. So first, I'm just gonna have to make do with reselling Succubishes Volume 1 in this size, and later on down the line, you will see it convert to to this small size, but it's really fun to just see what a long way I've come with, you know, making my art into physical products, because I feel like that used to be so intimidating. But now that I'm a working woman and I can make money, I can now invest that money into my own stuff. This is how I made my own books using Excel. So yeah, I just currently filmed the portions of my Instagram reel that required my presence to be in the video, and then any of the clips that require a voiceover or just not my face in it, I'll just do it later, because again, I just try to maximize the daytime with the daylight and like the fact that I got ready for this all in the daytime, and then when it's later and night, that's when I usually find the time to do editing and the quiet work. But yeah, also some exciting news I would like to share regarding posting stuff on Instagram is I finally announced my book pre-sale or pre-orders online. And here, let me give y'all a closer look. So yeah, I finally announced the release of the cover of MEESH, the Bad Demon, and I kind of just shared the behind the scenes of my experience publishing my first book. It's not on bookshelves yet. Again, it's on pre-order, so you can check out this link in the links below if you would like to snag a copy of my book the moment it comes out. So yeah, I just kind of shared the behind the scenes of my experience from the initial brainstorms to the rough sketches, and then some snippets of the final art. And here is the OG inspiration behind everything I do, my family. But yeah, it was just a really exciting thing to finally announce. After making so many comics on Instagram, I finally have a traditionally published one. So yeah, this book puts all of these books to shame. Just kidding, okay? Just kidding. I think in general, I do want to leverage more of the things that I've already started, because I feel like usually when you reach a low point or a dark point in the year, you're so quick to be like, I'm just gonna give up on my YouTube channel, I'm just gonna give up on my Etsy store, I'm gonna give up on my Patreon, I'm just gonna give up on making comics on Instagram. Like, there was a moment, I would say, in the beginning of this year where I honestly felt like I wanted to just stop doing all of these random side hustles and supplemental things and just see what it was like to just focus on my priorities, which was my main animation job and just making my book. But I felt like during that phase, I did start to feel slightly unfulfilled when I didn't have an outlet for just my own personal stuff again. And I just know that this is a cycle that would continue if I just continue to stop working on my random side hustles, and it's just okay to know that you can take a break from these things. And as a matter of fact, because I already have a job in animation, I feel like, you know, it's a reminder that, hey, I'm privileged enough to take on these side hustles and not have to rely on my side projects for financial stability, and I can just focus on them when I need to. So if I need to take a break from it, sure, I could always revisit again. So I would like to leverage my online shop, Etsy shop, and maybe my Patreon, and again, start making more videos consistently on YouTube and just posting comics on Instagram, which I feel like I've already been doing, but it's just amping that up a little bit. And I know, like, some people might be like, oh, you should just ease yourself into it, in which, you know, I've tried before, but I feel like when it comes to work, I just work better when I just dive immediately in and just do everything as much as possible in the beginning, and then I can resituate and reevaluate what I can tone down on later. But I just feel like for this time being, because I had such a rough start to this year, I need an immediate fresh start to all of my other things, and we'll just see how it goes from there. And of course, I would also like to add that I'm not gonna forget about taking care of myself and my self-care, of course, and that starts off with going on a family trip with my family, so I do need to pack for that. So yeah, let's end this vlog on a somewhat peaceful, mundane note. Just let it rain on me. Let it rain.